We're back with another Alumni Spotlight, and today we are here with recent graduate Ryan Lahman. My name is Paul. I'm the VP of Ops at devCodeCamp. Ryan, you graduated. Congratulations on your success. How does it feel?
It feels like a new chapter has opened.
Good.
Certainly, it does feel like that there's a lot more opportunities that have it's like a door. You just opened it,
Awesome. Well, you had to fight through it too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you are a person that's a little bit different. You came in with some coding experience. You probably just grew up with code, didn't you?
Not exactly. It was more. What was this year? Like maybe sophomore year. I took a intro to coding class, and it was like, okay, coding was pretty interesting at the time. Like this was back 2014, so like there wasn't a lot of like newer frameworks out. Like React, I don't think was out until 2016. So it was like a dull moment. You didn't really know about all this stuff, but everything was like kind of like Java and C still in classrooms, and that's what I grew up with. Java, not C, Java, HTML, and CSS, and that was the only thing that they taught. There was nothing more.
What drew
And
you to code?
it was honestly, it was kind of like a thing where I had three friends and we are like, yeah, let's just take this class. And we all got in the same class. And I I was more expecting it to be kind of boring. We found another friend there, and him and I kind of just took off with coding a little bit. We were a lot faster than the other people, and I just enjoyed doing it. Even if I didn't understand what I was doing in the end, I kind of understood, hey, it looks pretty cool, When you get to
Right.
make that first 2008 looking website, you do feel really good about yourself for quite a long time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if nothing happened at the end of coding, nobody would do this. I mean, it's about creating things. It's about solving problems. It's about, seeing something come to life. That's really rewarding. And I think that's what draws a lot of people to it is the ability to do those awesome things. And to somebody who's never coded, it's almost like magic.
Definitely.
So talk to me a little bit about your experience with the team at devCodeCamp, specifically during the course with your instructors and your classmates. Walk me through it. What are your thoughts?
Sure. So I definitely wasn't expecting this kind of like a boot camp because I was more of a self-learner at the time. This was back in May. I was looking into boot camps. I was starting to code a little bit more, and I was on my break from work, and I just wanted to look into something. So when I looked into devCodeCamp, I noticed the instructors, but I didn't really understand it until I finally got into it. And that's where it felt like it was definitely a necessity, having that one-on-one connection with the instructors. Because I would be, hey, I need a question answered at like maybe 5:30 or 6, 7, whatever time it was, and I would get a response like almost instantly, or I would explain it, wait a little bit, which was understandable.
You're like,
um,
what's wrong with these guys? Don't they ever stop working?
Yes, it's kind of like that. But I think the most important thing that I've ever taken away is that these aren't just instructors, is that they're people too. And, especially I want to give a big shout out to Tony here from DevCode, because it was fantastic. Because sometimes like after class, like maybe 10, 11 o'clock, I'd hit him up, we'd get into a Zoom call and stuff, and we'd just talk about stuff for maybe the next hour or two. And it was probably the most personal thing I could relate to. It wasn't just, oh, these people are just here for coding questions. I mean, these are people too, and learning about them was definitely the best experience I've had.
Well, there's no doubt that you have a passion for code. I think just being able to talk to you a little bit right now, I can feel it coming through the Zoom room. And that's really the top thing people look for when they're looking to hire somebody like yourself is they want somebody that's got that passion because they know they're gonna be a type of person who's going to be willing to continue to learn, not just willing, but like out there looking for new things to learn. We start with the foundations. We've had people come to us with zero experience and people with CS degrees and everywhere in between. But as you know, somebody who's been dabbling in code, there is something to be said about understanding how to write good, clean, professional code. There's something to be said about understanding best practices because we're getting you ready for the real world. And we want you to have experienced it as close as possible before we send you out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel prepared?
I do. I couldn't feel any more prepared. It's the uncertainty of what I'm prepared for,
Yeah.
just dabbling into that new, maybe there's a new technology at the job or something. That I think that scares me more than I want to admit.
But
But
we're here to help. You're right now.
exactly.
You're right now into the portion where it's career services. All hands are on deck. We're helping you with your social profiles, with your resume, with all that stuff. Networking. You get to work with Eric and Megan. Talk to me a little bit about how that's been going.
Yeah. So I, at first, since this was what, December 24th, I think, is when we kind of stopped or ended the class. And that was kind of the hardest part, going over that 2 weeks where everyone's on vacation. I would email people, vacation, vacation, vacation. It wasn't easy to get a response at first. And that really let me down at first. But once, the first, I guess this was more like the sixth, first of the sixth. And that's when everything started kind of going in hand. Like it was a wheel going down a hill at that point. It felt like now that people are back, you're getting a lot more responses. You're getting calls. Like I have to answer my call when I'm sleeping sometimes because, like, oh, some guy wants to talk about a job job offer or job interview, and I'm like, okay,
Absolutely, I'll take that
something.
call.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that call and then go right back to bed.
So what's your favorite part? Front end, back end? Where do you see yourself going with this?
I see myself as more of a front end, but after dabbling in both back end and front end, it's more full stack. Definitely at this point, with all this knowledge that I've gained from DevCode, it's I have to go full stack at this point. There's no going back.
You are a legitimate full stack junior developer. That's it. And I think any company out there would be lucky to have you. So somebody comes up to you today and says, I'm thinking about doing devCodeCamp. What do you tell them?
I definitely tell them, like, there's no thinking. Going self-teaching yourself is one thing. Going to any code camp in general, especially DevCode, like, you're going to learn a lot more, not just with coding, but with working with other people specifically. And I think that right there is key to making a very successful developer, because you can have as much experience as you want. You can have 10, 20 years of experience. But if you don't know how to work and communicate with other people, that'll let you down in the team. And that teamwork is what brings people together.
You got it. And I'm going to put one caveat in there. Any boot camp, yeah, you can go to other boot camps, but you won't be going to the best. You won't be going to devCodeCamp.
I will even expand that further, is that I think devCodeCamp has two of the best classes, only because I think that the MERN stack is one of the most widely used stacks out there, and the C# backend with .NET, another huge framework. People are going to use that. You got millions of jobs potentially, and every other boot camp, maybe they'll teach Ruby or something, jQuery for 4 to 6 months, and it's like, you don't want to learn that. You got to go to the best.
All right. Well, you are well prepared for a very successful career. Keep up the great work. And again, thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk to us. We want to be able to hear right from, the graduates, right from the people that experienced it themselves. What's it like? And I wish you the best.
Thank you.